All right. Welcome to the Sports Debater Show podcast with Weezy and July. We got our first debate episode going on here with the coach James coaching ball and Jeremy Richardson. Why don't y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves, fellas?
Elders first. Elders first.
Oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? Coach J, man, from Opelousas, Louisiana, man, holding it down, baby.
All right. And Jeremy Rich, what about you, man? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, what it do? Coach Richardson, Coach Jerm, Coach Rich, whatever you want to call it. Originally from Ville Platte, grew up in Opelousas too, though.
All right, that's what's up. I got a fun. Me and Jeremy Rich actually just met a couple of days ago. I was starving. I just got off
Yeah.
work. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I went on Facebook Live. I told John Rich come hop on it with me. You know, got a chance to meet him. He real cool dude.
Yeah.
As far as Coach James coaching ball, I've been knowing this dude for some years. We went to same elementary, same junior high, same high school. He was a grade ahead of me. Funny part about this, my freshman year, I was walking into OHS, I'm thinking I'm the man, I'm trying to holler at a few chicks, a couple of football players come walk up to me. I'm like, man, what's going on? What's going on? And James coaching ball, he was one of them. He probably don't remember, but they put me on top of the lockers and embarrassed the shit out of me.
Man,
But
was you getting? Do we need to call the bully hotline, man? What's
man,
going
but
on?
I
Yeah.
was,
It was
I was,
all
I was a,
love, baby.
I was a solid 135, soaking wet.
That's good, man. That's hilarious.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man, they put me on top of the lockers. Man, I was so embarrassed, man. I was like, man, homeboys are laughing at me, the friends are laughing at me. But it's all good. I still got love for you,
Hey,
coach.
I
yeah,
love
like
you,
a fire
man.
too, though.
All right, hey, but the sports debaters, man, they all real excited about this debating episode. Me, Reese, and Mike, we decided to bring y'all on first because y'all two of our best debaters. So we're gonna hop right up into it. I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna talk about this first topic, one of my favorite topics that we talked about in the group. Who had a better prime? Who played better in their prime? Tracy McGrady or Carmelo Anthony? I want to hear from John Rich first.
All right. Hey, we talking about prime, strictly prime. I got to go with my dog T-Mac. All right. The reason I'm on that, if y'all remember when T-Mac first went to the Magic, it was a legitimate conversation on who was better, Kobe or T-Mac. And that was a legit conversation throughout the entire basketball world. A lot of people say T-Mac, a lot of people say Kobe.
Both all NBA
I mean,
players.
oh yeah. I mean, if you ask me personally, I'd have to give it to Kobe just off of the accomplishments he had while he was going. But if you talk about one-on-one, prime for prime, the dog eat dog, who's better? It was out of them two. And at the time in the league, you still had Vince Carter in his prime, Ray Allen in his prime, AI in their prime, But the two top dogs at that wing spot, and T-Mac. He went to Orlando, got 2 scoring titles, most improved player. And I mean, the biggest knock to him, of course, was not being to get past that first round. I mean, everybody know that. But shit, if you trying to drag Darryl Armstrong and Pat Garrity out the first round, that's a tough task, man. I mean, that's tough. Ain't much people do right there, And again, you're going up against the Ray Allens, the AIs, the VCs in the East. You got Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker out there in the East. They had some dogs. So if we talking about strictly prime for prime, I gotta go with my dog T-Mac.
Hey, I want to touch bases on you with that because McGrady. Don't get me wrong. I hear you about they had some great teams in the East, but he did have a 3-1 lead against the Detroit Pistons.
That was my first point.
Oh, don't steal his thunder now. Don't steal his thunder.
Okay, all right, James. Let me hear from you, Coach.
Hey, man, this starts right there. T-Mac had a 4-year prime. Let's talk about that, a 4-year prime. Melo's prime almost lasted a decade. You gave the nod to Kobe over T-Mac. And Kobe, out of his own mouth, said the hardest person he ever defended was Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony took that Denver Nuggets team that consisted of Kenyon Martin, a halfway washed up Chauncey Billups, and he
Whoa,
took it
whoa,
to a
whoa,
16.
Mm.
Oh, he was halfway washed.
whoa.
You
Whoa,
may
whoa,
like
whoa,
it, but he was halfway washed up.
Hold
Let's
up.
keep it. Go look at that series.
whoa.
He took it first finals where he scored 39, 34, 31, 25. He battled back and forth with Kobe in the Western Conference Finals.
Mm.
I can't give it to a man that never got out the first round of the playoffs. As you alluded to, he had a 3-1 lead in the first round and couldn't get out of the first round. Melo had a better shooting percentage. Melo
Mm.
scored more. Melo shot better from three, and Melo shot better from the free throw line. T-Mac did have more assists, but he was more of a point forward. Melo was there to get buckets, and buckets he gave. If you go back to his first year with the Knicks, when he finished third in the MVP, he had a battle with Bron that was epic in the first round, and there was no one else on that Knicks team to even speak of. You know, he had Tyson Chandler, J.R. Smitty, Marchand,
Mm-hmm.
but Melo was the man. Pound for pound, when you were talking about who was the lead dog, I got to give Melo over T. The stats speak for themselves.
Okay. I'm gonna disagree with you with the Chauncey Billups part.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah,
That's the shit
yeah,
like Chauncey.
reason being, Melo and Allen Iverson, they took they was a 8 seed,
Mm-hmm.
50-win 8 seed in the West. That's how tough the West was. But
Exactly.
they got swept by the Lakers 4-0. Chauncey Billups, who came from Detroit with all them Eastern Conference Finals, he switched places with Iverson, and they went to the Western Conference Finals. So Chauncey Billups, I think
Hold on.
he was more than just
Oh
halfway
yeah,
washed up.
he definitely was
No,
walked up. He
hold
definitely
on.
was walked up.
I'll accept that pushback. But just because he remember he replaced Iverson, who was a shoot first player, a score first player, just by
Good
nature of
point.
him being a pass first point guard, made that team a better team. It gave it for a better dynamic for Melo. I'm not saying that he was trash or anything, but his
Mm-hmm.
prime was behind him, is what I'm saying when I say he was
Okay.
halfway.
Can I ask something? Can I ask you something for Jerm to respond back to the part where he said he never got out of the first round? Because I think that what you said about as far as Billups being not the same Billups from Mr. Big Shot, that is true. That is true because their games were diametrically opposed. Like he said, one guy is a pass first guy, the other guy is a shooting guy. So even if Billups was less than Billups, they're still a better team just by construct of what they do. So Jerm,
I
what do
agree.
you think as far as the McGrady never got out of the first round? What do you think about that part?
I think with McGrady not getting out that first round did have a lot to do with how that team was constructed. Kind of similar to a lot of the criticisms a lot of people give Bron now. You know, he has the ball a lot, but he's looking to pass too much at times. You know, but that the way that team was constructed in Orlando, which they were looking at Grant Hill to be there too. So it kind of, you know, with Grant Hill ankle, they kind of messed things up. But you had a guy like T-Mac who could easily go out and score 30, 35, 40. I mean, he had 2 scoring titles. You know, he easily go score however much he needed to score. But he also did have that willingness to facilitate an offense. But again, when you're facilitating to Daryl Armstrong, Pat Garrity, Clerk, you know, but that extra skill set he had really wasn't what the Magic needed. I mean, he also had Mike Miller, but it just that team as a whole just wasn't a team constructed to be able to get past the other offensive filepowers that the East had at that time. Now, whenever you talk about Melo getting Billups, you know, he was a perfect complementary player to be able to go along with somebody like Melo. Then you also you mentioned Kenyon Martin, but what I want people to remember that on that Denver team you had Kenyon Martin and Marcus Camby, 2 of the best paint defenders at the time. So you
Don't
had
help with scoring.
two elite defenders. You had Billups, who wasn't a shabby defender by no means necessary either. And then you had Melo, who gonna do that scoring. So I mean, it was perfectly. I ain't gonna say perfectly. It was a more well-constructed team where people, the players on the team, balance each other. Their skill sets gelled better. Whereas you had over in Orlando, you had T-Mac, who was a superstar, could do whatever you needed, but then just a bunch of riffraff around him.
All right, let me push back on that just a little bit.
Go ahead,
You
coach.
talk about Kenyon Martin, you talk about Marcus Camby, you forgot, say, and Chauncey Billups. Yeah, those were defenders guys. So they were looking to Melo to be the alpha dog scorer. And you look at T-Mac was put in a similar situation where he had to be the alpha dog scorer. Everybody talks about the two scoring titles that T-Mac scored. People fail to realize T-Mac scored less than 20,000 points in his whole entire career. He scored right at around 18,000 points. As we speak, Melo has 26,000 points and counting. So that's why I have to give the mark to Melo. He got buckets, he got busy, and he was a far better rebounder. You know what I'm saying? They didn't ask him to facilitate the offense. When you talk about buckets and boards, Melo's the guy.
I mean,
I want to go ahead, John Rich, and then I'm gonna respond to that.
Oh yeah, I
Go
mean,
ahead.
anytime you want to bring up longevity between the two, yeah, Melo gonna definitely get the nod every time. Now, something I also want to add on that. Even with that longevity that Melo has, T-Mac got 7 All-NBA nods to Melo 6. So that in that short prime that T-Mac had in Orlando a couple years before he just fell off the face of the earth, I think in that span of time, T-Mac got this. You know, he was in the route of a long career like Melo and all these other greats had, because I mean, T-Mac was playing on half of a back the whole time he was playing. He was still getting it up. By the time when he was healthy, Yao Ming wasn't healthy, so they never had their whole team to be able to gel properly.
Hey, you're breaking up a little bit. Is he breaking up to you guys?
Yeah, John Rich, you kind of
So here's
John
one
Rich.
thing. Do y'all have cell phones by the computer? If you have a cell phone, if you could turn off the Wi-Fi of the phone or keep it away from the computer, that might be part of the interference, or any other Bluetooth devices. But could you say your point, Jerm, again?
I think I got what he was saying. Basically, he was saying with T-Mac had a shorter prime, but he still in that shorter prime he had more All NBA nods.
Exactly.
And you made a good point with Yao Ming, that him and Yao Ming, they couldn't gel because they never was fully healthy together at the same time for that long. So
hey, you say they didn't gel, but guess what? Didn't matter who Melo with, he got buckets. That prime still extended. Even though Alvin took more shots away from him, I'm getting buckets out here.
I got one more point, then we're gonna move on to the next subject. If T-Mac would have been healthy for that 2009 semifinals against the Lakers, we would have been seeing T-Mac versus Melo in the Western Conference Finals.
Wow.
That would have been something to watch.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, if my auntie had nuts, she'd be my uncle.
Right. If it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, man. We'd all be drunk.
You right.
I had to throw that in there because I know James a Lakers fan. I had to throw that in
You
there.
already know.
That was a Shannon Sharp level right there. That was hit us with that other shade, boy. Hit us with that. About the chicken ain't roost and all.
There you go. All right, Reason, what you got for the next topic, Reason?
Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're going to go ahead and go to the NFL. As you can see, the controversy of COVID. We're not sure if we're going to be doing fanless games, if we're going to be doing games with fans, or what the season's going to look like, what the preseason's going to look like. But one of the biggest buzzes was Tom Brady joining the Buccaneers. That was a big buzz because, we saw that Gronkowski came and joined them as well. And then you look at those offensive weapons, it's almost a perfect mix. So we want to exclude Tom Brady out of this question and ask, outside of Tom Brady, who do you think is the most impactful NFL free agent for the next upcoming season? And we'll start with, since we started with Jerm last time, let's start with Mr. James coaching ball. Let's see what you got.
All right, now you're talking my language. Now we get to that football shit. For me, and if we excluding Tom Brady, I'd have to say the Colts picking up Phillip Rivers is by far the biggest pick. All right, first of all, Phillip Rivers had one of the worst offensive lines in San Diego. According to Pro Football Focus Analytics, the number one guard this year was Quentin Nelson out of Notre Dame. He was rated as the number one offensive guard in the NFL. Actually rated the best guard in the NFL. You had Anthony Castillo, who's a top 6 left tackle. You have Braden Smith, who's a top 8 tackle and was rated the number 3 right tackle. And you have Ryan Kelly, who is rated as a top 5 center. So he's going to have ample protection. The Pro Football Focus rated the Colts offensive line as a top 3 offensive line in 2019, and they're returning all of their starters. Another little slip note: the lever, who wasn't rated in top football Focus, never missed a snap at all for the Colts. So he's their most consistent guy. So on top of that, you had T.Y. Hilton, who's a top receiver, who I feel is one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. You had Jake Doyle at tight end. Only thing you're missing is a quarterback. While my guy name slips my mind for a second, but while the quarterback was healthy, the Colts went 5-2 before he
Jacoby Brissett.
There we go. Jacoby Brissett, before he was injured his left knee, the Colts was 5-2 and leading that division. So I think adding Phillip Rivers, that is a crucial piece. Now on defense, the Colts was number 5 against the front. The problem was they couldn't generate a pass rush. But now with the acquisition of DeForest Buckner from the 49ers, that actually shores up that aspect. You throw in a division that includes the Jaguars, who I don't think going to be much of anything this year. Houston, who just gave away their best receiver, and the Titans, who was a one-year wonder. I think the Colts are.
Wow. Okay. Hey, let's shout out to Bill O'Brien for being the worst coach before the season. Before the season even started, man.
Hey, man, he taking a knee though, so he gonna keep his job extra 6 games.
hey, he took a knee on trying to get wins. That's what he did. He took a knee
in the season.
But just to recap, while he's repositioning, just to recap what James said, that's a pretty good point as far as Jacoby Brissett. But do you think that Jacoby felt the gap or the disparity between Jacoby Brissett and Phillip Rivers is that large, is that exponential? Do you think it's that big of a gap?
I do.
I didn't want to give away my rebuttal point, but my rebuttal was you got to think about Marlon Mack, who's a 1,000-yard back, who was averaging 4.4 yards a carry. So it's not like they're going to ask they're not asking Phillip Rivers to go out there and win in the game. They're asking him to hand the ball off, work in play action, and make smart down throws on third down. So Jacoby Brissett was never the problem, but he's not the complete answer. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those players that he's a good serviceable starter. You know what I'm saying? He'll be a fringe Pro Bowler on certain years. But the difference between Phillip Rivers' talent and Jacoby Brissett's talent, I don't even think they're in the same ball.
Okay, wow. So, yeah, I mean, I would say it is probably a significant upgrade. Yeah. It probably is a significant upgrade going from that. We'll give Jerm a couple seconds here.
All right. This sounds good.
You sound great. You sound
way better.
Yeah, all right, cool. All right, what we was on?
Could you overhear what James was saying as far as that he thinks that, Phillip Rivers is the best NFL free agent pickup outside of Tom Brady?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I caught that part. All right. What I was saying, I'm gonna sound like a mad and hopeful. Cats that just like skill players and big skill players. I think the biggest free agent pickup is Austin Hooper going to the Cleveland Browns, tight end from the Falcons. Reason being, a lot of people not even familiar with Austin Hooper, but just give a little background on him. He's a 4-year pro, 2-time Pro Bowler, and only been a starter for 1 season. All right, so he's made 2 Pro Bowls like that and only been starting for 1 season. And even in that season, some of the games he didn't even start. So he hasn't even been a full-time starter yet, but has been given starter production. we all know the weapons Cleveland Browns already has, and for some reason they just can't get it all together. But I think this year,
Baker Mayfield.
yeah, right.
That was my rebuttal.
It is on him. But when I give you that safety blanket in that tight end, now Baker Mayfield can be a whole lot more comfortable. And that's adding to the tight end that they already have with, I don't know how the hell to pronounce his name.
Njoku.
Yeah. So he's already nice, but Hooper is an even better blocker than him at the same time. Receiving, I'll still give Hooper a slight nod over him. But now with both those weapons, I can go with multiple tight ends, which the offensive coordinator likes to do. He likes to put him up multiple tight ends. He likes to go 12 personnel set. So now I can throw out Odell, Jarvis Landry, Cooper, and Njoku. Plus I got Nick Chubb and what a lot of people sleeping on, Kareem Hunt about to get a full season. So I got a lot. Ball brought up the Titans being a one-hit wonder. I don't know about that, but that could possibly happen because the Browns also got their offensive lineman in Conklin, who's one of the best offensive linemen in the league by far, easily. So you shore up protection on the offensive line. You throw in another blocking Hooper, who's also a receiving threat. You get Myles Garrett back on the defensive end. I mean, if they can finally get rid of whatever curse they have over their franchise, because that's really what it seems like.
Right.
In the Brown franchise, then did something dirty, and they got all kind of voodoo on them. But if they get all that right, I do believe Austin Hooper can be that final piece in that offense to really open it up the way people been expecting that offense to open up.
Okay. And do you have faith in Freddie Kitchens as far as being the person to put all that together?
Hell no.
Look.
What are you talking about?
That's my answers right there.
or is it too hot? If it's too hot, maybe they'll get Freddie out the kitchen. Maybe that's what's going to happen.
They'll probably, if it's too hot, they'll probably get Freddie and me out the kitchen, to be honest with you.
Okay.
That answers to hold it back.
Quick question. Who more likely to make the playoffs, Colts or Browns next year?
Oh.
Yeah.
Look, you don't even want to answer that.
That division is tough.
I'll put it like that. Man, that's a tough one right there.
Listen, I would thought Austin Hooper, but what more do you want? Nick Chubb was the third lead rusher in the NFL. We know what Odell can do. We know what Jarvis can do. Browns was actually on the bottom, what was middle of the pack in giving up sacks. So it wasn't just the offensive line problem. Baker Mayfield, he doesn't have the best mechanics. He doesn't have the best footwork, and he's very antsy in the pocket. So until you shore up that vision, I don't care how many weapons you're going to put around him. If your quarterback is not solid, and Freddie Kitchens has been fired, but until you get that shored up, it doesn't matter how many weapons you have. It won't matter. The Browns will finish third in that division again behind the Steelers and the Ravens, and they'll beat out the Bengals, and they'll be drafted in the top 10 again, trying to replace Baker Mayfield.
Ooh, that's tough.
Trevor Lawrence.
Hey, as we all know, ball and you admit yourself, you are a football guy.
Yeah.
So whenever you give that safety blanket to that quarterback, that allows that quarterback to be a whole lot more comfortable. You got somebody like Mayfield who in his rookie year he showed that he has the tools to be successful. I mean, he had a great rookie year. This next year, I don't know if it was the pressure because of the weapons that they brought in, and he had a little more expectation on him, or what. But you're right, he didn't look like the same quarterback at all. Everybody was wondering what the hell happened to Baker Mayfield. This not
even Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan came out on First and 10, or not on First and 10, but that morning show, Get Up, and he said, and he actually started a rivalry with Baker because he call him a one-read quarterback. And so Baker was trying to point to his rookie year, like, look, my rookie year, I was moving the ball around. So it looks like the only difference is Freddie Kitchens as far as him having the role to take care of he's somebody who's never been a head coach before. And so he was asked to do everything. Maybe he was over his head.
I give you one better. I am a football guy. You know why a lot of guys succeed in their rookie year? Because nobody has any fucking tape on you. You don't know your tendencies. You don't know what's your favorite reads, anything. Vince Young and Robert Griffin were rookie of the year. They're
Wow.
looking for jobs right now. You feel what I'm saying?
Wow,
Now that
yeah.
everybody knows what he does, hey, after his first read, he leaves the pocket. Guess what? These NFL defensive coordinators, they knows that shit. So once they double your first, hey, double O, let's see what he does after that. Once they know you can't go to your second read, ball game. You can't ask for another safety down when you have the third leading rusher in the league. Hand the ball to Nick Chubb. He led the league. But besides Nick Chubb, you had Ezekiel Elliott, and I forgot who actually led the league this year, but he was third in the league in rushing. You had Odell Beckham. You had some of the best hands and juice, and you had Njoku, who was a top flight tight end. What more do
I
you
think it
want
was
from him?
I think it was Derrick Henry or Dalvin
Derrick,
Derrick
Cook.
Henry.
it was
Yeah,
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
There's no more you can do. You give your quarterback a top three running back, a top five wide receiver, a top 10 wide receiver, a top 10 tight end. At some point, you got to look at the tight end.
All
I mean,
right,
at some
y'all.
point, you got to look at the quarterback.
All right,
Yeah.
before we move on to the next topic, I just want to give out a shout out to Vince Young. I ate at the steakhouse the other day. Hey,
How was it?
off the chain,
Yeah,
bro.
Ah,
Off the chain. Off the chain. But we're gonna get into another popular topic in sports debaters. We all talk about Jordan versus LeBron, how most of us think Jordan the GOAT, LeBron right behind him. But some people do have Kobe Bryant in front of LeBron career-wise. I have Kobe Bryant number 7, LeBron number 3. But they got a lot of people and former players who do have Kobe over LeBron. I want to hear y'all take on it.
hey,
As LeBron career, if LeBron career would end right now, who had a better career? Who would be ranked high on the all-time great list? Kobe or LeBron?
I'll take it first. I'll take it first. If it ended today, right now, LeBron is over Kobe as of right now. You already said you got LeBron third right now. I know Kobe not. You got Kobe at 7.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people going to immediately when it comes to LeBron and Kobe, they immediately jump 5-3, 5 rings, 3 rings. LeBron got a 3-6 finals record, and that's literally, in my opinion, that's the only trump card that Kobe has on LeBron. It's the fact that he has 2 more rings. You know what I'm saying? Now, once you start getting into a lot of narratives and all that stuff, can really start twisting. You know, so I like to start looking at it at a straight line level, just player for player. Look, throw the rings out and all that because there's teams and all this here. Let's look at it player for player. Kobe can shoot from the mid range exponentially better than LeBron. Everybody knows that. But what else can he do better besides that? Other than that, is he a better facilitator of an offense? No. Can he guard multiple positions? No. I give him the 1 and the 2. He'll be able to defend that. Can he rebound as good? No. Can he score in the paint as good? No. Can he shoot from deep better? No. They about the same whenever they're shooting from deep. So you have that one aspect Kobe has on him, but other than that, that's it. You know, we're not going to even touch the athlete part of it because LeBron is, you know, you got LeBron and Wilt is the 2 best athletes. You got Mike probably a little notch right under him, and then a whole lot of people way beneath them 3, in my opinion, when it comes to that. So when you look at that straight line comparison that way, I got LeBron over. If you look at career accomplishments throughout their career, as far as all-stars, all NBAs, all defensive nods, they're about what and what. Kobe had 6 more all-defensive nods. I got some opinions on that one. I think a lot of them was gifted to Kobe late in life. You know, gifted, I'm not gonna sugarcoat that one. But I mean, we all watched their careers until recent years. LeBron was a top tier defender, and whenever the playoffs come around, he turns back into that same defender. I know it in the group earlier. You had a post about LeBron's defense on KD, but I'll just say That's KD. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who that is. He gonna do that against anyone. You can go throw Bill Russell on him. KD gonna give Bill Russell buckets. I don't care who it is. You know what I'm saying? But we've all seen both of their careers. Both of them are great defenders. But I will say that Kobe excelled at guarding smaller perimeter players. He was phenomenal at that. It was almost crazy to see him defend somebody smaller and quicker the way that he did. I mean, we all know the highlight of him completely locking down Kyrie, which Kyrie is one of the, probably the best ball handler ever. And he just straight sat on it, locked it down. He was great at that. But when we talk about Kobe's defense on people his size and all that, it's kind of like, damn, I really can't remember him locking down Paul Pierce, Vince Carter. I really can't remember that. I can remember him playing great defense on AI, Kyrie.
Steve Nash.
Hey, I see James coaching ball having like he got some Stephen A. He got some Stephen A. Smith reactions going on over there.
I really can't remember that. You know what I'm saying? All the defensive, shine that I can remember Kobe really having him against smaller, which is not a knock on him because that's actually a good thing that you can get somebody bigger and still keep up with somebody that's far quicker than you. That's a great thing to have because you also had Fish on the Lakers, who was a great defender that could guard people bigger than him. So I mean, that was a good thing to have with the Lakers of having my best offensive wing player being able to guard a point guard. I mean, that's a gift anybody wish they could have. Then when it comes to LeBron, there's no defensive mismatch for LeBron, and that's a rarity.
Good point.
That's a rarity that maybe I can give to Dennis Rodman and Prime KG. Other than those three players, I really don't know who else was able to do that defensively. Draymond may come the closest to that, but even he has trouble with point guards, with small quick guards. But
go ahead and say what, James. I know you want. He want to be like what? Like that's so disrespectful. He want to Stephen A. on
blasphemy.
The blasphemy. The undedicated call of you.
But I'm serious. If you run a pick and roll action with LeBron, if he's guarding the screener, all you have to do is switch. It's not going to be a mismatch for LeBron. It may be a mismatch for who's ever switching off of that ball handler, but it's not going to be a mismatch for LeBron. I mean, he throughout his career until maybe the last 2 years, he's been able to guard from the 1 through 5. I mean, it was in one playoff run when he was in Miami, he defended Derrick Rose and locked him down, MVP Derrick Rose, and locked him down, and later on that same team in Miami, he defended Tony Parker in the finals. In that same series where he was defending Tony Parker, he got a block that everybody remembers on their starting center.
Thiago Splitter.
So you got somebody.
Thiago Splitter.
And at the end of the day, I don't care who he is. He's 7 feet tall. So you got somebody who can switch off and help on your center, but can also be a primary defender on an all NBA point guard. You know what I'm saying? First ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, like I said, other than Dennis Rodman and Prime KG, because even Boston KG couldn't do that. But Prime Minnesota KG, I don't know who's else been able to do that on the defensive side. And LeBron was robbed of a Defensive Player of the Year award when he was in Miami and they gave it to Marc Gasol.
Whoa, okay. So Gasol, okay.
All right, Coach, let's hear what you got, Coach. I'm interested. I'm ready.
In the words of Stephen A. Are you done with that soliloquy?
Right.
Hey, this is no disrespect. LeBron may be the most overrated defender in the last 20 years. He gets a chase down block here and there. He blocks Thiago Splitter, and we call this guy Dennis Rodman. Okay, in 2001 in the finals, who did Kobe guard? The MVP, Allen Iverson. In 2002 in the finals, he switched from Jason Kidd to Jeremy Richardson. In 2009, that you like to bring up, Jerm, who guarded T-Mac? Kobe. Who guarded Melo? Kobe.
You got one.
Kobe took
You got
every defensive mismatch, every defensive match, and he took it to heart.
Hey, Melo gave
He
Kobe buckets, man.
buckets. A lot of them.
did he
A
run
lot
from
of
the
them.
challenge?
Matter of
Hey,
fact,
did he run from the challenge? Did he run from the challenge like LeBron did in 2017 against Durant? I'm gonna take that.
Oh,
I knew that
hey,
was
I
part of
got
it.
it to July's point though, to Kenny's point though, when he said that Melo gave him buckets. I will say this: James has a point as far as he stepped up to the challenge because a great
Oh,
defender is not going to lock you down to zero. A great
It's not.
defender is just going to make you have to take more shots to get the same amount of buckets you normally would.
I know. I just wanted to put that out there. I know. I just wanted to
Oh,
put
okay.
that out
Melo, man.
You just want to make sure everybody knew.
As
And
a
this is
Melo
one of
fan,
my favorite debates.
I need that
And
same Melo to show up when the game
this is
starts.
never to shit on LeBron because I think LeBron is an all-time great. But again, I'm a Kobe guy. We can start with the years that Kobe was robbed of the MVP. Let's not forget, there's only been one person in NBA history to average over 35 points a game and not win the MVP, and that was Kobe after the ring charge. All right, the NBA could not give him that MVP charge. Against Steve Nash's 18 points and 10 assists, Kobe averaged 35, 6, and 5. The following year, when Dirk won it at 23 and 8, Kobe was averaging 31, 6, and 5. So Kobe had a solid decade of shooting over 25 points a game while shooting 45% from the field. There's only one other person to do that, MJ. All right. So let's not even talk about everybody. He's a volume shooter. Let's talk about the efficiency of that. There's only one other person to go over 25 points a game and 45 from the field for 10 straight years. It was Kobe and Jordan. All right. Now
Jerm,
let's go to
before you respond to that, Jerm, I just want to touch bases on the Kobe MVP point. This how I looked at MVP. I think Steve Nash did deserve it that year against Kobe. Reason being because MVP is not just about numbers. Because Jordan would have had about 10 of them.
Oh,
He lost against Magic. He lost against Magic when he averaged 32, 8, and 3 steals. He
John went
lost against
all out.
Magic. Steve Nash took that Phoenix Suns team to a 60-win team, bro. Kobe, I think he was a 7th seed that year.
seven.
Unless you having a once in a lifetime season like Russell Westbrook, they're not gonna give you the MVP if you a low seed like that.
All
Yeah.
right. So you say LeBron's a better facilitator for 11 years, from 2000 to 2020 to 2012. Kobe led the Lakers in assists. So everybody talk about he's not a facilitator, but I lead my team in assists. I can only do what I can do. I'm not all right. So now let's talk about the intangibles. If you want to have fun and take pictures before the game, have individual handshakes, throw power in there, yeah, you can play with LeBron. But if you want to win, if you want to get it done, you play with Kobe fucking Bryant, man. Killer instinct. I will not let my team lose. If we gonna lose, this bitch is on me. I'm gonna shoot that bitch 32 times. I'm gonna shoot it 34 times. It don't matter. That bitch on me. That's what you want from your alpha male dog on your team. Everybody talk about, oh, LeBron's IQ is better. No, he makes smart basketball plays. But here's the difference between smart basketball and IQ. LeBron has shot 54% from the field 8 different times in his career. The best shooter he's ever had was Kyle Korver, who shot 42% from the field from three. If you're dribbling a basketball and I get the paint, and I know I can shoot 58% from here, but he's shooting 44 from there, why would not shoot the basketball? That's the difference between IQ and making a smart basketball play. All right. So let's break it down to two things that disqualify LeBron for me from this discussion. In 2009, LeBron was the number one seed in the East. They won 66 games. They was the third best three-point shooting team. They was top 5 in defense. And when Orlando, who started Rafer Alston instead of Jameer
Whoa,
and Michael
whoa.
Pietrus, he got his ass kicked in the Eastern Conference Final. Everybody
Stick to my
remembers that.
lane. Ah,
Everybody remembers that big game one winning shot that he ran across the court like it
Game
was the
two.
NBA
Game two.
final. Game
And
two,
two.
He won the NBA Finals, and when Kobe saw that shit in the finals, it was 4-1. Get the fuck out of my building. And LeBron passed that shit. Everybody likes to bring up, oh, Paul Gasol was a top 10 player. That's a lie. Dwight Howard was better. LaMarcus Aldridge was better. KG was better. Dirk was better. I just named you 4 big guys that were better than Paul Gasol. So how's he a top 10 player in the league? If I can name you 4 big guys that was better, I didn't even got to wings and point guard. If I name 4 bigs better than Paul Gasol, how can he be a top 10 player? People misconstrue a perfect fit for a system with being a top 10 player. Because I guarantee if you let Draymond Green be the starter in Detroit, he doesn't have any rings, doesn't have any defensive MVP. That there's a difference between perfect fit and fucking being a good fucking player. 2011, the biggest one of all. Miami was top 10 in scoring. They was top 10 in threes. They was top 5 in total defense. Up 2-1, LeBron was the 3rd leading scorer on his team. Chris fucking Bosh had averaged more points in the finals than LeBron. All right. In game 4, LeBron scored 8 points on 27% shooting and 0 points in the 4th quarter. He was checked in the 4th quarter by JJ Barrera, Jason Terry. Kobe would fucking never do. Let's just keep it real. And I always bring up, we don't bring up the ifs in sports, but if you look at a Draymond Green suspension and one of the most clutch shots in NBA history, Ray Allen, we're talking about LeBron being 1-9 in finals.
1 champ, right? Man, that's tough.
Okay. Guns, guns. Okay. First, I'm first. We just gonna get this out the way. 2011 LeBron is no excuse for that. Anytime somebody bring that up, I just shut my mouth. Be like, hey, you right. That man stunk it up. It was what it was. To me, that's his one blip on his career, though. It's a big one, but that's his one blip on his career. Now, since we talking about major blips, to my knowledge, I don't know, y'all help me out though, but I don't ever remember LeBron completely missing the playoffs in his prime. You just brought up whenever Kobe scored all them points, but it didn't get him. It got him to the house early, crib, fishing, good draft pick. That's what you know what I'm saying.
Look, I'm a Laker fan. Do you remember that team? Smush Parker, Kwame Brown, Lamar Odom, Luke Walton, and Sasha Vujacic. Jesus himself might have missed the playoffs, dog. Jesus might have missed the playoffs. You gotta think about that.
That's sacrilegious.
Come on, man.
Other than Lamar Odom Clipper years, that was the only time he ever missed the playoffs. Other than his Clipper year, which nobody expect the Clippers, the Clippers was afterthought at those times. And I think he actually made the playoffs one time with the Clippers. So let's not throw Lamar Odom name in there because Lamar Odom can hoop. That man can hoop.
Facts. What did he do without Kobe and what has he done with Kobe?
Karan Butler was on their team as well. So you had 3 hoopers. That's 3 hoopers. Now,
Karan Butler wasn't on that team.
Karan Butler was on the team they missed the playoffs with.
Not that team.
Let's look at it this way, though. Because it's not, some people will say Kobe Bryant is a better one-on-one player, but this is 5-on-5. So if you were to start a franchise, if you were to start a brand new franchise, both players are rookies. Who do you draft?
Ron off dump.
Kobe, Bean, Bryant. Let's look at this.
Point guard, I can put you at the forward the same time. Let you guard my 5 if need be. I'm going with LeBron. What you mean? That's without a doubt.
LeBron was on a team. LeBron was on a team with 3 top 15 NBA players and went 2-2 in NBA Finals. Kobe Bryant took a team of Paul Gasol, Andrew Bynum, 1-year wonder, Lamar Odom, Sasha Vujacic, Ronnie Turioff, DJ Mamba, Shannon Brown. You serious? None of the Luke Walton was such a bad player. He ended up coaching. He ended up coaching before his NBA tenure was up. Think about that. We had NBA coaches on. Sasha Vujacic went back to Greece. What are you talking about, man? You look at these players before Paul Gasol made it to the Lakers. He never made All-Star games other than as an alternate. He gets to the Lakers, plays on the side of Kobe, and now he's third team All NBA. Lamar Odom never made an All-Star game before playing with Kobe. He gets playing with Kobe. He's sixth man of the year. What has Shannon Brown done since? Sacha Vujic, Luke Walton, DJ Mamba, Ronnie Turioff, Chris Mill. What are these guys doing, man?
Hey, Shannon Brown had a baby with Monica, so that's a W.
No, hey,
That's a W. That's a W.
Look at some guys that Kobe has played with, and he won 60 games with those guys. 60 with not another All-Star. And we're gonna talk about this right here. Give me Kobe all day and twice on Sunday.
Nah, sir. Nah.
You give Kobe, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade, they might win 5 straight.
No,
I don't know.
That's not a good fit. It's not a good fit. No, it's not a good fit.
Now wait.
What does Braun do? What does Braun do with Gasol?
Nothing. That's not a good fit either.
It's not a
This what I tell people all the time. I made a post about this too. Jordan and Pippen fitted well together. Kyrie and LeBron fitted well together. But Jordan wouldn't fit with Kyrie, and LeBron wouldn't fit with Pippen.
No. That's the same. It's the same.
Here's my pushback on that. Dwayne Wade already showed that he had the ability to take the back seat when he told Braun this was his team. You don't think Dwayne Wade would have took the back seat for Kobe? Chris Bosh had already showed that he was willing to be the third option after being the man in Toronto.
You don't think
he
have a choice?
No,
I think Bosh had a choice.
I think Kobe and Bosh would gel great together because I mean that's the same play you get in Kobe basically. But Kobe and Wade would take a back seat because that's his personality, that's his demeanor. But taking a back seat to that skill set, which is almost the same skill set you have, is kind of a crazy to take. You know what I'm saying? He took a back seat to LeBron, who plays completely different from him. So now when LeBron comes out the game and they staggering those, it's still a bit for the sake of the team. But putting those two type of skill sets on the team, it's a weird fit because one, you're either gonna have Kobe at the 3, and now you might make your team size a little bit, or you're putting Wade at your 1, which I mean, it ain't a bad thing to have Wade at your 1, and that's what he came in the league doing. But it definitely does change the dynamic of not what Kobe does, because Kobe gonna be Kobe, but it changes the dynamic of what you're gonna get out of Wade.
Well, also one thing that nobody talks about is that Bosh actually got paid the most. When they got together, everybody had to take a pay cut for exactly, and I think something like that. So I think Bosh got like 110 million, something like that. I think Bosh was getting like 110 million on a max because everyone else took a cut to make the roster, the salary cap fit. Right, so maybe he was willing to take that third option because the pockets was fat.
Before
you give me 110 million, I take the back seat too.
Before we move on to the next topic, I just want to ask all 3 of y'all. Like I said, I got LeBron 3, I got Kobe 7. Where do y'all rank them at?
For me,
wait, I didn't hear
I'll
you.
go first. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I didn't hear you. You was breaking up.
Oh, I said I got Kobe 7 on my all-time great ranking, and I got LeBron 3. Where do y'all have them at?
I'll answer first because mine is the most controversial, I'm sure. But I got LeBron at 5. He had just passed Larry Bird as far as that 5th spot on the top 10 all-time, my top 10 all-time. So my top spot is, your Mount Rushmore. But I have Kobe right outside of the top 10. I'm not trying to take away from him being an all-time great. I'm not trying to take away from being an all-time great. I'm not trying to take away from his legacy. I'm not trying to disrespect the man posthumously. I'm not trying to do any of those things. But what I'm trying to do is point out his actual playoff performances and how they rank. He actually had, in my opinion, he was actually Shaq's equal on that 3rd championship. On the 3rd championship, Shaq, his ego took a hit because he realized, wow, this dude is about to be what he called Flash and Wade in Miami. He saw that happening with Kobe. And so he didn't want to take that. And that's where you saw the chemistry issues in Detroit. But as far as Kobe Bryant being outside of the top 10, he's right underneath Tim Duncan and Jerm for me. And the only reason I do that, because a lot of people don't realize Tim Duncan had just as good as a stretch of a career as Kobe did. If you look at rings, if you look at the fact that he went through, and he had a cheat code on Kobe as far as he went to college. So he had 4 years of Wake Forest, and he came in there a seasoned veteran. So David Robinson immediately took the backseat. And that's saying a lot, because this is a dude who scored 70 points at a center position. So if you come in as Tim Duncan and you immediately are an MVP caliber player, that's just something Kobe didn't have because he didn't have that tutelage from a college education. So I'm not taking away from his legacy. He is still, to me, the second best Laker of all time behind Magic. I'll even say he's the first because Magic will say he's the first. But I look at that as politeness, and I think Magic truly loves Kobe. So he's going to say Kobe's the greatest Laker of all time. But as far as the top 10, I have him right at 11.
All right. Who you got coaching, ball?
Hey, hold on. Before you go there, I need my dog. Hey, touch your head right here. I think you got a fever a little bit. It's gonna let you kind of rise.
I got that COVID. It's that COVID, man.
Honestly, I have Kobe ranked at that 6 or 7 spot. You know what I'm saying? And that's my dog. You talk about that. He became Shaq's equal in that last ring in 2002. But if you look at 2001, he actually averaged more points per game than Shaq in that run. Kobe became a 21-year-old gangster. You know what I'm saying? I have LeBron right at that 5 spot. I don't have him in front of Larry Bird just yet because Larry Bird was special. Nobody gives the respect that he deserves. I became a Laker fan because my pops was a Laker fan to the point where he used to record all the finals and shit, and that's how I got introduced to Larry Bird. And I tell people all the time, who is the last NBA player to win 3 straight in NBA MVPs? It was Larry Joe Bird. So I got Bird just step ahead of LeBron, and I got him at he's top 5 dead or alive. That's how I look at it.
All right, John Rich, who you got?
Hey, you brought up them 3 MVPs. I tell you somebody who should have 3 in a row, if not 5. But we're already talking about that person right now. But on the all-time rank, I got LeBron anywhere from 3 to 5. Because I mean, once you start talking about all the players and all the greats, man, it's a whole lot to be splitting hairs between somebody that played in the 80s and 60s and somebody that's playing now. So I mean, if anywhere from 3 to 5, you know, I got Mike 1, Kareem 2, and then I got, you know, Wilt, Magic, Kareem. Any way you want to put them 3 and 5. I'm like my man. I got Kobe either lower top 10 or right outside of that top 10. And it's not a knock on him. I mean, it's the players who done played in the NBA. And I mean, I know when that list came out with ESPN, people went up in arms. They was distraught. But I'm like, bro, like, do y'all realize how many great players have come through the NBA? Even if you put him in the top 10, as long as I don't see Kobe's name above Shaq or Duncan, I don't ever say nothing. Once I see Kobe name go above, that's when I start saying something like, hold up, whoa, let's stop it. Let's bring it back. Any accomplishment Kobe has, Duncan has at the same time, plus more.
That's what I was saying.
When we talking Kobe, we talking about the most dominant man that ever touched the NBA in Shaq. I mean, if you want to say Wilt, then cool. Shaq is 1.5 right below him. But I mean,
so you equate dominance to being a better basketball player? Because that's 2 different things.
If
Bo Jackson was one of the most dominant running backs for 6 games. That don't make him best.
A lot of people say dominance and best is different, but I always like to say, if I can score 50 points on 10 less shots than you and still get the dub, how am I not better? If I can still get these accomplishments in a far easier fashion, I mean, I know they play 2 different positions, so it's going to be completely different.
Right.
But I always say this when it comes to that Lakers team, when they were winning all those championships. Take Shaq off that team and put whoever you think is the second best big at that time. Do they 3-peat?
Wait, they did. They took Shaq off that team and put Gasol, and they went back 3 more times and won it twice.
True.
Kobe showed you that.
Ooh.
Kobe showed you that. Get
Yeah,
this motherfucker off my team and
I-
give me that other one. Give me that little Spaniard
Right.
over there, and I'm gonna go back 3 more times.
But
That's
James, let me ask you this. James, let me ask you this.
that was the same league
what do
they
you?
competed in. Let's not forget that. By the
Mm,
time Gasol came, the league was transitioning from dominance in the paint. That's what I'm talking about. When
Hey,
Shaq
that
was,
ain't that.
that's fair.
we know you won by dominating the paint. So whenever the Lakers got that, that's when the league started transitioning to a more
Perimeter
ISO.
game.
We go out the wing, and yeah, Kobe was the best player doing that. So that was a better formula for that. But just for argument's sake, let's say you take Shaq off that Laker team and put again whoever you think is the second best big at that time.
Matumbo.
Hey, I'll even let you have Duncan because I consider Duncan a center in my eyes. But
Okay.
do they repeat? Now I believe that they gonna continue for the championship every year. Yeah, they might even win. I don't see the three-peat. If I take Kobe off that team and put the second best two, who you could say would either be
T
that
Mac
time
or
Ray,
Iverson. T Mac or
right?
Iverson.
Ray, T-Mac, Iverson, BC, any one of them dudes, even if you want to call Paul Pierce a two at that time, whatever.
They don't.
I legit
They win maybe one.
team.
They don't get out the West.
They will bring other than Ray Allen on the defensive end. I mean, it'll be different bringing in AI because that's a completely different size stature. You got to kind of restructure your team on that one.
Right.
If you take Kobe off that Laker team and put in Ray Allen, I still think that's a 3-peat team. You take Kobe off that team, put in Vince Carter. At that time, people sleep on how cold Vince Carter was at that time.
He wasn't cold.
I think that's the team.
See, people forget. Let me take you back to the Sacramento series when Shaq was hurting and Kobe went 48-16. Or you go back to
talking about the series a dude went to prison for.
I ain't got nothing to do with it. Oh, so hold on. Let's address that. So that was the only game he was fixing.
Hold on. We ran out of time on this subject.
Okay, we got
that's the only game he was fixing.
But look, I'm glad y'all was honest about Kobe. Y'all gave me y'all honest opinions. RIP to Kobe Bryant. I wish while he was playing, I would have been more of a fan of him. But I was more of a Shaq fan. So I without the knowledge, I thought he broke up the team. But come to find out years later, it wasn't him, it was Shaq. But RIP to Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, my brother.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Kobe. But we about to get into my favorite topic that I'm gonna be listening to this one because Reezy, he in charge of this topic, so he about to take over, and I'm gonna just be a fan because I like to hear stuff about this. I like to hear stuff like this. So go ahead, Reezy, take over.
Okay, so actually, and I'll give July the credit, man. He came up with this topic. So, but basically, we had a segment that we saw where you can come up with the 10 players that would most benefit from a championship. This is as of right now, a championship coming up in either this upcoming season if we finish the season, or the subsequent season after that. So basically, what I did was I took 4 different axioms or 4 different absolutes on how I'm going to judge or rank these 10 players. So I'm gonna hold up a list right here so you can see the first 5 players. I don't know if y'all can see that. Can you see that in the camera?
Back it up just a little bit.
Can y'all see that? Okay, so we have Westbrook as the number 1 player. I don't know if y'all can see that. So
Westbrook, Harden, LeBron.
Exactly. So the top 5 is Westbrook, Harden, LeBron, Kawhi, and then Greek. And the way that I came up with this is 4 categories. I went by probability. So that's the probability that the player would have to win a championship. Legacy, which is a big one for probably the top 3, or really the top 4 as far as Kawhi, Bron, Harden, and Westbrook, because if you win, now you're looking at that compilation of your resume. You're looking at how many MVPs you have. You're looking at the triple-double seasons. You're looking at led the league in scoring. Harden with assists. Harden. So the third, probability and legacy. The third thing is window of opportunity. So how much time do you have left? How much time do you have left in your prime? How much time do you have a window of your teammates being on your roster? So that's big for players like LeBron. He don't have a lot of time left. And if he's chasing 5 rings, he has to get them now. And then the last thing, so probability, legacy, window of opportunity. And then the last thing is media perception. A lot of times we don't realize that perception sometimes equals reality, even if that perception isn't true. Like Kobe Bryant, for example, when we said that he should have had the MVP and Steve Nash got it, some people think the media perception is what kept Kobe from getting that consideration, or maybe at least more votes if you want to go there. So that's kind of where I got. And so that's the top 5. We can react to the top 5, and then I'll give you the second top 5. So the top 5, again, is Westbrook, number 1. And the reason why I did Westbrook number 1 is because of what would happen to him as far as point guard rankings of all time. If you look at 3, everyone knows that we talk about Big O because Big O had the triple-double season. Westbrook made it look cartoony, and people stopped paying attention to it. But one thing about us is we're not going to be the people judging it later on. It's going to be the history books judging it later on. And the history books are going to love seeing 3 triple-double seasons. Harden number 2, because for me, I think there's actually a possibility of if the Rockets did win a championship, there's a possibility, I think, that Westbrook could actually get the NBA Finals MVP in that situation. And then LeBron 3, I think, again, he has an urgency. He does not have any time to waste as far as his body clock and as far as AD and everybody else coming along with them. And then Kawhi and LeBron are almost equal. And the reason why, because they would both be the first player to win 3 NBA Final MVP or have the opportunity to win 3 NBA Final MVPs on 3 different teams, 3 different franchises. So that might be a great argument point as far as LeBron chasing Jordan on the GOAT conversation, and then for Kawhi to actually jump into the all-time small forward conversation by doing 3 championships, 3 different places. After a while, we're going to have to start paying attention and start talking about the claw a little bit more. And then that 5th person is the Greek, just because he's up and coming, he has some time, and he also has an upcoming free agency where he could make a monster move if he decided to leave Milwaukee. So I want to get your reaction. I'm going to start with you, Jerm. What is your reaction to those top 5? And is there anything that you would change out of those top 5?
I mean, that's a pretty solid 5. I like how you broke it down with the different criteria of how you group in that particular order. Definitely a lot of those guys' legacies would take a huge boost, specifically with Westbrook and Harden. That still kind of being the one knock on their resume is that they can't win it all. Once they win that, they get to put all that talk to rest. It's kind of like the argument with KG and Dirk. Like a lot of people like, oh man, and once they got just the one championship, like that talk was went out the door. Like everybody loves KG and Dirk. I've literally heard no criticisms against KG and Dirk in years. I've never heard nothing bad about them in years. Even with KG being terrible towards the end of his career, he was just out there wasting time. They still loved him because he got that one chip. He had an MVP, he had a defensive MVP. There's nothing for him to do. Same thing for Dirk. It was the same for Pierce until he got on TV and started talking, and then that kind of went out the door.
That's fun. Okay.
The only thing I would probably change the order just a little bit. I would put LeBron 1 on that one just for the mere fact of the scrutiny that LeBron puts on whatever he does. I mean,
okay.
And the way I look at that, because if he gets there and he loses it again, people dropping him down. Like July, he got him at 3. July might go put LeBron to 5 if he loses another. A lot of people are really waiting to see. Well, can y'all make it past the Clippers? Can y'all get there? And then can y'all get there? Can y'all win it, or will you lose another? So I think that mere scrutiny of everything that he does in his career, well, he'll probably benefit the most. It'll put him one more closer to Kobe, two more behind Jordan, but it definitely puts them. It kind of diminishes that ring talk. You know, now I don't want rings on three different teams. Now, I don't want rings as being the leading scorer. Now this one I'll be the leading man in dimes. You know what I'm saying? So I mean that's something people never seen. So yeah, I think it's a huge benefit on them because it kills a lot of the criticisms that goes against the same way for Russell Westbrook. I agree with Kawhi being up there. I mean, if he gets a ring, three rings, three teams, he'll definitely be the finals MVP. LeBron might have to share that with AD, depending on who does what. But I think if the Clippers win it, it'll definitely be Kawhi getting the finals MVP on that one. And I mean, that's something we ain't never seen. You definitely got to put him over there. Plus, to go along with two defensive MVPs. I mean, that's a resume. Although it's short, it's a resume like no other. Ain't nobody seen that. You got to start putting him up there. And if he can sustain that for the rest of his career and have a lengthy career, I can that's some top 10 stuff.
Yeah, Kawhi's career really falls. It reminds me of the book. I don't know if y'all ever read Malcolm Gladwell, the author Malcolm Gladwell. He has a book called Outliers. Yes.
Yeah.
And basically Kawhi really reminds me of an outlier because you can't look at his career like anybody else's. I mean, he's somebody that started as almost like a role player. Popovich had that Marine mentality. He really implemented a lot of the mentality that he got from being in the Marines. Mm-hmm. And so he didn't want to have an offense centered around Kawhi. He always made sure. I remember there was audio whenever they do those little clips where they cut to the scene where they're on the bench and the coach is yelling at everybody. He would always say, Kawhi, facilitate. It's not here for you to score. It's not. And Kawhi was that quiet guy. He would always just kind of take that defensive role. So his resume will look very, like you said, short and sweet. Because if you have multiple defensive players of the years, MJ don't got that. You know what I'm saying? MJ has one. Now, MJ should have had it. We can talk about how he got robbed of his 200 blocks and 200 steals and 100 blocks season. Yeah. So he should have two. But that's even being in the same conversation. I have two defensive player of the year. So looking at Kawhi, if he wins or continues to win in the Clippers, it's really going to break the mold of what we look at when we talk about anticipated stars. Like Zion right now has all the hype in the world. Yeah. So if he wins, it's like a rocket ship. He takes off. But Kawhi came out the blue. He's just a dark horse who doesn't move how anybody likes him to move. He doesn't talk to the media how anyone likes to talk to the media. And he might be looking at 3 rings and 2 in a row. One from Toronto.
Back to back.
Hey, man. Can we stop putting so much stock in bullshit? Oh, he won 3 different titles on 3 different teams. What an accomplishment.
I blame ESPN.
You got a good realtor. Get out of here with that nonsense, man. But no. I think the shit for LeBron is set. All right. He's not chasing anybody but Jordan. That ship has sailed. Another ring for LeBron means you got another ring for LeBron. All right. Congratulations. You got it. It's cool. Number 5, Greek Freak. If he gets a ring, it's kind of like, he got a ring, guys. Congratulations, Greek. You got it. Kawhi, his first ring, he was a role player. And if you want to be completely technical, his second ring was against a battered, beaten team. You got one guy don't have a missing Achilles. You have another guy with a missing ACL. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, nothing to take away from his accomplishment. But, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it was a battered Warriors team. The 2 people that have the most to gain from a title is Harden and Westbrook. Right now, James Harden has single-handedly made people hate watching him play basketball. Right? Always trying to get fouls. He travels more than anybody you've ever met. You know what I'm saying? And his play decreases in the playoffs. People hate Westbrook for whatever reason. I mean, people literally hate Westbrook. And I love the guy. You know what I'm saying? There's no doubt about his effort, his energy, his enthusiasm, his passion for the game. I think if Westbrook gets a ring, especially if he becomes final MVP, if you look 10 years from now, you're going to look at this guy as this guy had a triple-double for 3 years in a row. He led a team to a goddamn title, and he won a Finals MVP. His legacy would be completely cemented. Same thing for James Harden. You're talking about a guy who led the league in assists and led the league in scored before. You know what I'm saying? Led the league in getting to the free throw line as well. But getting a ring attached to his name would wipe out everything. I think those other guys on the list, although it'd be nice to get a ring to say, yeah, I got it, but those two would mean the most. You talk about Kawhi has two defensive MVPs. Doesn't Draymond Green have defensive MVPs?
He
got
got
one, I
one.
think.
He got one.
He had,
Right.
all right,
And
he
that
has
was
one.
questionable.
I'm about to say the same thing. That's pretty fucking questionable.
That,
Hey,
that was the year
Go
Kawhi
ahead.
sat out, though, right?
But
Yeah,
I do want to respond back to the Greek one though, because you said Greek would just be like, hey, he have one ring. Just real quick, he would have. I mean, it looks like he might have two MVPs, two regular season MVPs, and a ring. So that is that's a good starting block to build your resume on.
and I want to add to it too. Harden, if Harden would get a ring and Finals MVP, he the third best shooter guard ever.
Second,
Third. No,
Second.
third. He behind Kobe. Nah, he gonna be behind Kobe.
Hey, I ain't gonna put him over. I ain't gonna put him over.
He gonna be third.
okay,
If
all right.
Westbrook would win a ring, I would put him top 25 player ever. Top 25 as of right now.
I'll push back on this slightly, July. I'll give him top 30 player, and I would move James Harden to he'll be a solidified top 3 shooting guard because the defense that a top 4 shooting because the defense that Wade brought on top of his offensive game, I still say Wade is probably the third best shooting guard of all time
Okay.
behind Kobe.
And as for LeBron, to respond to journalists, LeBron, only one player in the NBA did something to make me move him to the bottom of the barrel. That was Dwayne Wade, but that's for other issues. That didn't
Oh man!
the way Wade went to my number 2 shooting guard to my number like 18.
Oh goodness!
Yeah.
But that's a different conversation for another day.
And we may have to cover that. We may have to cover that one day.
Hey,
I want to get. Go ahead.
Hey, I want and y'all might laugh, but I want to add a dark horse to that top 5. The person who would round out my 5 on that one, bro. And y'all gonna laugh, but Kyle Lowry, dog. Kyle Lowry is the most.
Get the fuck out. I'm out.
Hey, I don't think Toronto have a chance of winning it, but let's just say by some chance they come out the East, and then hey, look, it's a 7-game series. Me and you, anything can happen at that point. It might be some more injuries or something, whatever. But Kyle Lowry is the most disrespected perennial all-star in the league.
But what about Siakam? What about Siakam?
That's what
they finally got to the promised land last year, but then Kawhi got all the shine for it. And that was rightfully. Kawhi not there now. You got Kyle Lowry is people see how great of a year Kyle Lowry actually having this year. Because you had a lot of the other players that came up and having good years too. A lot of the spotlight was on Siakam and all that. Fred VanVleet came out of nowhere, had a great year. So a lot of the shine was on them. But Kyle Lowry was having a better year than VanVleet, in my opinion, and by equal to Siakam. So if he can lead Toronto, to that ring, let's say it by the grace of God it happens, he leads Toronto to that ring and get Finals MVP. I think the disrespect to Kyle Lowry has to go completely out the door. Then once you start looking at his resume, it's like, wait, shit, Kyle Lowry is a great fucking point guard. Once you look at his entire.
But here's the thing, though. What the probability, though? That's a probability factor.
Yeah. That's what I said. It's a dark horse. It's not going to happen. But if it does, you got to start giving my man props. I feel like this. As of now, you got a lot of people that say Kyle Lowry is not a Hall of Famer. You got a lot. He's not a Hall of Famer. He wins this.
He's not even in the Hall of Very Good.
That's a Hall of resume.
Now, okay, Jerm, real quick. If you get a championship out of Toronto, who's more likely to have an NBA Finals MVP? Is it Lowry or is it Siakam?
It'll probably be Siakam because of the score. Okay.
Hey, Jerm, I'm gonna tell you this. You became the second member of the Kyle Lowry fan club behind his mom. Now, if we're gonna talk about replacing names, I'll give you a dark horse. If you want to
Okay.
take off Greek and LeBron, my two dark horses would be Pascal Siakam, because that would be a great start to his career from working his way up to from a role player to a Finals MVP, and the real most disrespected player, not goddamn Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Bucket, a guy that gets so much criticism, says he breaks apart teams. If he would get a chance to lead his team to an NBA final, that would completely change the way people look at him. I'm a big Jimmy Butler fan. I love his game. I love his intensity. If he would get a chance to host that trophy, the Larry O'Brien and the Bill Russell Finals MVP, I think that would totally rewrite his legacy.
I'm with you on that because I actually think that the Heat have a better chance of winning a championship than Toronto.
Oh yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. But let's go to the last five. All right, so I'm gonna round out the top six. I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna try to be good, stay away from it. Basically,
Right there. Don't move.
Luka,
okay, so we have
Tatum,
AD at 6, right?
Joker, and Butler.
And then
You got Butler on that thing.
yeah, I got Butler on there. And that's again, it goes to my point where I think Miami actually does. If somebody gets out of there, I do think it's either the Sixers. If it's not gonna be the Bucks, I think it's gonna be either the Sixers or the Heat. Now with AD, I think for him, he has the legacy part. With his legacy, he's kind of looked at as a sidekick. So if he can somehow get a finals, I think the probability of them getting a championship is high. You're going to have your Lakers, your Clippers, and your Lakers, your Clippers, and your Bucks. That's actually the top four: Lakers, Clippers, Bucks, and Rockets. Rockets probably being the fourth team. Those are the probabilities. So if the Lakers are the favorite, and LeBron is really trying to feed AD like he promises and swears that he is, and he's leading the league in assists, if AD gets that Finals MVP, his perception of, again, media perception changes totally. They start talking about different narratives. Once you have talking heads like Nick Wright and Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp putting out these ideas that AD is so great, people are going to jump on that. Now, on 7 and 8, I have Luka and Tatum, and I have Luka right above Tatum. You see what I'm saying? And the reason why I did that is for a specific reason. Those two players are diametrically opposed. One guy is not a two-way player, while the other guy is. So Tatum can do both on both sides of the ball. But Luka is almost a Harden-like facilitator as far as he can always have the ball in his hand. People call it the Bron system. Like, it's not a negative thing. It's just somebody who has that intellect. Like you said, the difference between a smart play and a basketball play. Luka has that intellect. He proved it in the European League when he came in the league at 20, and he did better numbers than Bron did at 20. So if he's already won a championship with grown men in Europe, and he comes here and he can show that he can handle the ball, facilitate. I think the only problem with him that he's having is dealing with the physicality. It seems that he seems to be complaining a little bit about the physicality. If he can do that, he can be a superstar in this league, and he's all set up to possibly win an MVP before Tatum, in my opinion. Now, Tatum is a great player. He really reminds me of Kobe. He's very fluid, but I think for him, his name of his game is efficiency, and that could be the argument that people have with Kobe as well. They almost have the exact identical stats, so it's really weird to see that we had a paradigm shift of Black Mamba leaving us, but now we have Tatum. It's almost as if, like LeBron talked about, I made that dunk because Kobe jumped in my body. It's almost as if Kobe jumped in Tatum's body. That's what it really looks like. Now, I finished it out, the bottom two, with Jokic and Butler. So, James, you made my point on Butler. I ain't got to say a word. You already made my point. We agree. I think Miami has a better chance. But with Jokic, the probability is very low, but the legacy and window of opportunity are both very big. He has a chance to be the mold breaker on what we think of a great center is. He's a big guy. Oh, somebody getting blown up. he's a big guy, and so he almost fits a mold of like an Arvydas Sabonis. I don't know if you guys remember Arvydas Sabonis. Nobody was used to seeing a guy like Arvydas Sabonis. Nobody was used to seeing him have that muscle. as far as being able to really bully people, but then being a precise passer. We're seeing a lot of that from Jokic. So Denver, who always has a good defense, can figure out how to win. You know, that Coach Malone, he seems to have the players out in. The probability is very low, but as far as his legacy and the window of opportunity, they have plenty of time. Denver has plenty of time to grow, and hopefully Michael Porter Jr. might be able to become something or fill his potential. And then his legacy would be, I mean, people would just be talking about Joker. Remember when Joker won a championship? So I don't think it's likely, but if it happens, we know that nobody on that Denver team is getting the shine that Joker's going to get.
Right.
I'll work the way back up. I ain't gonna touch on Butler. I think if somehow if the snowball chance in hell that the Denver Nuggets win a title, I think that if the Joker would win the NBA Finals, the whole world would go, eh, oh well. I mean, he won it, but I don't think nobody would give a damn if the Joker won.
All right.
Tatum,
That's fair.
I think Tatum is in that Siakam mold. I think these guys gonna be. If you would they add a Finals MVP to their a championship and a Finals MVP to their legacy, it would be a great trajectory for them. They would become the forefront of the conversation. The new guys are here. They would get all the love and adulation. As far as Luka is concerned, people thought I was crazy before the draft. Once I saw his film of him balling in Europe, I said he's gonna win multiple MVPs. I'm a big fan of Luka Doncic. Like, I think he's going to be that dude for years to come. He's going to be a problem in the league.
Nice.
Out of this group, I think AD has the most to gain. And not just because I'm a Lakers fan. I firmly believe that Anthony Davis is probably the third or fourth best player in the NBA right now, hands down. I put him in that KD category as a walking unicorn. There's not often you get to see a 7 foot plus guy that has touch around the rim. He can dribble the basketball. He's added a 3-point to his game. He's not slow. He's nimble. He runs like a damn deer. He has the skill set to dominate this league. He's just not vocal. He's not the face. And plus, he played in a market for the first few years of his career that nobody really saw in
Well,
New
let's
Orleans.
talk about that. Let's talk about that. He was the big fish in a small pond, okay,
Right.
in New Orleans. Why do you think that he had? Because we saw what happened, you know, in the playoffs as far as them getting swept and things like that, and it seemed as if Drew Holiday was kind of the dude. So what do you think about that?
They ran into Golden State, man.
I'm about to say they ran into a perfect storm. I mean, not many people was gonna deal with it, man.
That's a buzzsaw.
Those guys are just special. Yeah, that you can't even. But when you saw him against Portland, you know what I'm saying? That you flip that over against Portland, he was the best player on the court, hands down. You knew that he was just different. And now that people get to see him on a national stage, you have people starting to see that, like, this dude is really that fucking good. You know what I'm saying? He's starting to show that I'm a top 5 NBA player, and he's been a top 5 NBA player. You know what I'm saying? I think that if he would add like if you say if LeBron would feed him and he would have one of those finals 28-14, 28-12 with 3 blocks in that thing, people would look at him totally different as, okay, he's the next great Lakers center. He would put his name up there with Kareem and Wilt and Shaq. And if you're a great Laker, you're one of the greatest of all time.
Right,
it's
exactly.
that simple.
And you know what? The knock against him about physicality too for AD was if you beat him up a little bit, he might shrink. And I will say against that we did see AD be great as far as the kid was a college player playing with the USA team.
Yeah.
You know, and he was an ex-point guard. Like, what kind of point guard grows up to be 7 foot? You know what I'm saying? So I do believe in AD. I do believe in AD.
I tell that to people all the time. In Anthony Davis' 10th grade year, he was a top 5 point in the nation at 6'4". His junior year, he was 6'7". By his senior year, he was 6'10". People talk about, his body was so frail, but people forget he got in the NBA at 19 years old. His muscles hadn't fully developed yet. But the last 3 seasons with the Pelicans, he played 70 games, and then the year they traded to the Lakers, they shut him down so he wouldn't get hurt. So he has proven that he's become more durable as the muscle mass has wrapped around his frame.
Okay, Jerm, what do you have to say as far as the? I'll recap it again. I had
Yeah.
AD, Luka, Tatum, Jokic, and Butler rounded out. So, any adjustments or reactions that you would make as
All
far
right.
as this list?
I'll start from the top. AD, I can definitely see AD benefiting the most out of the guys you got there. I mean, y'all basically touch on all the points. I mean, if you win a chip as a Laker, especially as the best player on the floor as a Laker, man, that catapults you to a whole nother level of greatness. You know, it's kind of almost what Cowboy fans think their players are. You know what I'm saying? That's what Lakers players actually are. You know, so definitely if AD can pull that off. I mean, like I said, all the criticisms about him, you know, shying away from contact, which a lot of people, you know, I don't know why they even still hold on to that criticism. I watch AD all the time, and I mean, AD really did start putting some bullet ball into a lot of his game. I mean, if you look at AD, hell, you know, it almost makes his head look small because his shoulders are so wide.
Facts.
Definitely AD would like jump to that next level of okay, you know, these dudes who you competing with not on your level, and now you starting to compete with some all-time greats. You know, definitely. Luka, I could piggyback off what James said. It'll kind of put him on that trajectory of a start to a bright career. The thing about it would be it happened so early. I think a lot of people might forget about it though. If he doesn't sustain it, it might be forgotten about. You know, it'd be like, oh shit, I forgot that 1 year the Mavs won it all. Yeah, you know, that happened. Almost kind of like with Chauncey and Rip and she, like, you know, the Pistons won that ring, but more people talk about the Lakers losing it more than the Pistons actually winning it. So I think a lot of ways.
Good point.
Luka the credit that he would deserve for it, so it really wouldn't give him that good boost to his legacy like it should. You know, you know, I mean, although it should be a great boost. I mean, you win a ring in your second year as a youngster. What Luka might be 20, 21 years old. I mean, that should put you up there like, damn, this dude gonna be that dude, you know. But I think a lot of people, yeah, it's just the way the world is now. People look to hate people, they look to get credit.
Well, do you trust Mark Cuban? Do you trust, like, as far as the window of opportunity? It seems like Mark Cuban might have learned his lesson as far as he broke up his championship Dirk team. And it seems as if he almost regretted letting Tyson Chandler leave, letting some things happen. So, like, man, maybe we could have made one more run. Jason Kidd still had his back together. He was actually starting to hit those set shot threes and everything. Right. So now that Mark Cuban went out, I think they had a big player get injured, Powell, somebody like that got injured, and then they had unicorn as far as Porzingis working his way back into being rehabbed, being healthy. So all this time off, everything like that. Do you think that Mark Cuban could build around Luka to where maybe it isn't a flash in the pan? Maybe he can be a perennial contender for maybe 5-6 years straight.
They definitely had the capability to do it, man, from everybody that's around the league. And I mean, just from a few people I know that kind of worked in front offices and all stuff like that. They say like Dallas is actually one of the best ran organizations in the league. You know, everybody talks about how great the Dallas organization is. You know, I mean, the only knock is that they're in Dallas. That's like the only knock to it, in Dallas. Not a bad city at all. I love it, but I mean, it's not New York or Chicago or LA to these other guys though.
And the guy walking around the office grabbing women's ass.
Right. He threw a whole bunch of money at that one though. He threw a whole bunch of that. That disappeared in like 3 days. I was like, man, he did a great job.
But yeah, I definitely think they have the ability and the capability to build a great core around that. I mean, the Luka's young, Unicorn is young. If he can stay healthy, so, I mean, you can definitely and their games gel perfectly. Luka, I mean,
Tatum and Luka are so close that I chose to put Tatum under Luka. Would you put where would you put Tatum and Luka as far as position?
I would probably put Tatum a notch above Luka on that one, just just strictly because it would eliminate that overrate him nickname that Tatum had. They'll knock all that out the door. I think this year he has knocked that off already. But I mean, it was a lot of people. Tatum had a lot of praise whenever he came in. So I think getting that ring will justify that praise. Plus that Celtic team has always been right there. They could never quite get it ever since the big three was going, and they always been right there. You know what I'm saying? So with Kyrie leaving and people kind of thinking, Boston really wouldn't be the same thing with Kyrie left, Horford left, the Morris twin left. Like it's going to be a different team. They may not, they're going to have to find some new things to do. But, I mean, they haven't missed a beat at all. He's playing out of position for one. They got him playing full-time four. So, I mean, if he can get that chip, I think it'll be more of a boost to him than it would be to Luka, strictly because he got that Celtic team back to what people have been waiting them to actually do. My next person I'd put it under that though, man, and it ain't just the Blazer fan in me talking, but Dame.
Dame Dollar.
The knock on Dame's career has been that he can't win. We got to the conference finals last year finally, but then so it's like people don't even care that we made it to the conference finals,
right?
Because we never get getting swept. So, and again, I don't think there's a chance they can win, but if something about some possibility they can pull it off, I think that solidifies everything he's done in his career. That whole, Dame can't win, and that type of point guard can't win because there's still a lot of criticisms on that score first type of guard cannot win championships.
Yeah, I think we had a post in the group and people chose CP3 over Dame because of the perception that Dame scores too much. Like that's not a problem.
To touch bases on that, Jerm, Rich, the reason why the Western Conference Finals last year with Portland was so disappointing. I actually picked Portland to win. That series against Golden State.
What? I gotta do that.
I ain't even do that shit.
I picked them to win because I think KD not being there, Portland. That was Portland opportunity. Portland was winning big in 3 out of 4 of those games.
Definitely dropped the
and
ball.
what happened?
That's why I say it's
them
so
light-skinned guys came.
That's why I said it's so disappointing because they was winning big in 3 out of those 4 games.
Definitely dropped.
Hey, but you gotta think about it. Being big against Golden State is really not being big against Golden State.
No.
That's 4 or 5 shots in there, right?
No. It was Golden State. It was Golden State defense that locked down.
Well, that is true.
It was the defense that locked down.
But that goes back to that point of a small point guard not being able to get it done. We haven't seen it being done since Isaiah Thomas. That's why he gets so much flex.
Yeah.
But you remember last year, reason before the Portland and Golden State series, I went to go buy that CJ McCollum jersey. Like I was thinking they was about to take that.
I was hoping for it. Hey, look, it been as a Blazer fan, it's been a long time since I got to be happy about something, man. That we made that, bro. But I mean, that's
the probability. Yeah, the probability is so small. But as far as the legacy, I agree. So the probability it hits him really bad. But as far as media perception, legacy, I would agree. Now, when you look at because I have those 4 categories: probability, legacy, media perception. But that window of opportunity, I don't know, man, because like if you have to look at Portland front office. They got hurt when Nurkic got hurt last year. Everybody thought it was a wrap. Like I mean, except for July, I guess he thought they were going to beat the Warriors. But as far as when Nurkic went out, I was like, okay, will they ever give Dame enough to win? Have they done enough to give Dame enough to win? I mean, Nicholas Batum.
I think this year. Our front office did a great job at complimenting what Dame brings. It was unfortunate we got hit with all them injuries. A lot of people was like, that was a one-hit wonder last year. But
Rodney Hood. That was a big one.
That was a good one.
He's been playing this season with only 2 expected stars.
Rodney Hood.
Well, actually,
That was
Soulja
your
Boy
big
Dre.
free agent
He
pickup?
said
Hold
Dre.
on, wait. Rodney Hood, that was your big pickup? Come
Hey
on.
man,
So hey, no, hey,
if you watch the playoffs last year
Rodney
with
Hood did this
Portland,
last year.
if you watch the playoffs last year with Portland against Denver, Rodney Hood hit some big shots.
Rodney
Like,
Hood went off.
What would y'all say to the criticism or the scrutiny as far as CJ McCollum and Dame Dash together? Because you said a really good point when you said, Michael Jordan wouldn't do well playing with another Michael Jordan, and LeBron wouldn't do well playing with the Pippen. So, James, Coach and Ball, we'll start with you. Do you think CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard is a good mix?
I honestly don't. I never thought they fit together. It was kind of like the KD and Westbrook. Your
A
turn,
lot
my
of
turn,
ISO.
my turn.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot
you
of
know what I'm saying?
ISO.
There's a whole lot of ISO and not a lot of offensive going on. And you can't blame neither one of them. Both of them get buckets. You know what I'm saying? Both of them can go and lead a team somewhere. So it's kind of hard to defer to somebody when you know you can beat them. I never thought that they was a great fit for each other. But again, like I said, I always thought the best would be to chase. If you're looking at the Portland Trailblazers standpoint, I would always say you get rid of CJ McCullough and hope for a great deal in return instead of trading Dame Dollar. I'm a big Dame Dollar fan, but I never think that they were meshed together. And I think that is going to ultimately always be their downfall.
Now,
Absolutely.
I'll take a slightly different spin. I don't think they're a great fit together, but not offensively. I think they're not a great fit defensively because neither one of them really cares about the defensive side of the ball.
This is true.
Both of them are 6'3", don't weigh 200 pounds. So once they get caught on the switch, there's nothing they can do. Offensively, I think they actually work well together because Dame actually doesn't play ISO ball a whole lot. Dame is in a lot of high action.
pick and roll.
CJ,
Yeah, I would agree with you.
CJ is a little more ISO, but I think offensively they game gel together perfectly.
Right.
The problem is on the defensive side, both of them. Dame is not a small point guard, but once he gets on a switch, he's smaller than anybody else. CJ is a small too. I think on the defensive side of the ball is where we get hurt when they're both in the game at the same time. If we can get more like 3-and-D type wings to where we can stagger their minutes and have another defender at that 2, it'll be a better lineup that we could put in. But yeah, I think defensively is where Portland get hit a lot when they're both on the floor at the same time.
I think with Dame defense reminds me of Melo defense on Kobe. Melo wasn't a good defender, but when he played against Kobe, it's like something he worked hard.
Yeah, it's a fire.
Right.
When Dame play against Westbrook,
oh yeah,
and Curry, he did it with Curry.
And Curry.
It's like
I agree. It's like a switch that he could flip, and then also you might argue that they need to go mirror how Curry. If Dame has so many similarities to Curry as far as having the unlimited range and all of these things, maybe you need to go get a Kelly Oubre or a Beal, somebody who can play that Klay Thompson role, somebody who won't always be dribbling the ball, someone who can catch and shoot. Because McCollum is, like you said, a lot of ISO. So maybe if the Portland front office could look at it, say, all right, we can't move Dame, but if we move CJ, let's go get a Kelly Oubre. Let's go get a Robert Covington. Let's go get someone who can, because Covington just won Defensive Player of the Year last year. Let's get somebody who can play some defense and fill that hole that Jerm talking about.
Hey, but don't ever compare Dame and Curry's game. Let's leave that alone. Leave them comparisons over there.
Okay. All right.
Leave that over there.
But Dame did have a hot streak this during this season where he was scoring 60-point games. 50-point games.
I'm not going to talk down on Dame. I just think Curry is on a whole. That's a conversation for another day. But the disrespect that Curry gets is unreal.
Right.
Third best point guard of all time.
I got him second, but that's a different
I take that back.
conversation.
Second best point guard of all time. I take that.
I could agree with that.
Hey, but y'all, we ran out of time, y'all.
Absolutely.
Man, this was a great first debate show, man. Hopefully
great episode.
We'll be able to bring y'all back, but against two different people. Like I wanna see you against I don't know that Barry dude, that red hat.
Right. We're trying to get him. Hey, shout out to Barry. Shout out to Barry.
Yeah, shout out to
man.
Barry.
Shout
Trying to
Hey,
get him, but Barry's good at them troll posts. He's
hey,
probably the
shout,
best troll I've ever seen.
hey, I had to show them what I had to show him what I'm about though, because I could do the troll post too.
Right.
Hey, you from nasty.
Hey man, this was fun, man. I love to do it again.
Absolutely.
Man.
Oh yeah, man.
Man, love it.
Yeah.
Thank
Hey,
you for
man,
coming out, man.
Hey,
but yeah.
your season this year, Jane.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one, man. Nice doing the show with y'all, man. Y'all
Absolutely.
have a blessed one, man.
All
Man,
right,
y'all be
guys.
blessed, bro.
Hey, and keep it up with coaching them kids, man. We appreciate y'all doing that work, man.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.